So we've done the setup. Now we're going to go into the loop, and that's when we're going to see the problem with the keyboard that I just mentioned, and I'll explain to you how you solve that. So we go to the loop, and we start with the loop from the button. So here's the loop for the button. It's about, you have to read the thing before you do something, and I'm talking about reading that, not the Facebook message. So you read from the button pin to read the state of the button. And if it's high, you do something, and if it's low, you do something. That's what we need. You read the button, and if it's high, you play the key, and if it's low, you don't play the key. So that's the kind of thing we want. So we keep this code. Then we look at the next code, which is one of the keyboard. And here we have something interesting. So while the sensor is within a certain, okay, that's reading different sensors. Here there are 3 sensors. So read the 3 sensors. And then another condition, if the sensor reading is above the threshold, tone 8, note this sensor 20. What does it say? It says play the note corresponding to this sensor. Okay. So tone means it's to play a note. And then we have 8, and we have note, and we have another thing. When we don't know what it is, because it's the first time we see the function tone, we're not going to guess. We do this. So we go to the Arduino website, and in this website, we go to the reference, and we see the reference where the tone, here's the tone. How does it work? And essentially, this is how it works. Where is it? Okay. It's the pin where the speaker is, the frequency, as in the note you're going to play, and how long it's going to play for. So what we need to do is see what we have in the code. And indeed, 8 is a pin, that's the note to play, and that's the duration. Because we like to make things neater, we're going to add the pin for the speaker in the variable. We don't want to put a number. We want to do that in our variables, and then just use name. So that if we want to change something, we just have to change it where we declare our variables. So here we add 1 pin for speaker. Yeah? And in the setup, the pin for the speaker need to be set with pin mode to what? Is it an input or an output for the speaker? Yeah. I know they don't do it, it's by default, but it's not good practice to do things by default. It's always good practice to have everything explicitly done. So you declare your variables, you have all your numerical value in the variables initialization, and then when you use function with a pin or something, you call a name, you don't put a value, so that you can change things here rather than change them in the code. And you set your pin either as outputs or inputs, so it's all neat. Right. So now we have the code here. We know the code to play a note. We know the code to read if the value from the LDR. Yeah, it's here. And we also know how to read if a button has been pressed or not. So we can move to the loop and start doing the real thing. So what we do then is this. First we realize that here we have 12 variables, and here we have 6 pins. Yeah? Because we just add one. So we go to the loop. What's our loop going to do? This is where, first you write it in plain English. Okay, this is my logic table. What conditions do I have? Bright, not bright. This and this, okay? How do I know if it's bright and not bright? How do I get the value of the threshold?
Use the reader thing, whatever it's called.
Read from what?
From the
In plain English. Don't try to give me code name. In plain English, what do you read from where?
how bright, how much light's going into the sensor,
Which sensor?
the LDR.
So we read from the LDR. So first thing we need to check what. So we need to check if it's bright. Yeah, that's the first thing we need to do. So how we do that? We read LDR value from the LDR. Yeah? So that's what we do. Second, so we can check if it's this or that. Then what do you need to read as well?
Not bright.
Yeah, but we read it from here. That tells us if it's bright or not bright. If it's bright or not. Because we read the value. Then we have key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4. We need to check if they've been pressed. Yeah? So next, we need to check what key, if any, has been pressed by the user. Yeah? And we know how to do that. It's from here. Read the read the state of the button from the button pin. So read what would you call it? State of the button. Read the state of the button from the button pin. Yeah? That's plain English. So, now we know if it's bright or not, and we know if the one key has been pressed or not. Then what do we do?
Need to set the things that happen when it reads them. So
Yeah, but we need, what do we need to do? We know, we have a value for the brightness, and we know if a key has been pressed or not. What's the next step?
Make it play a note.
But which note is it going to play?
A3.
It depends on what?
Well, it's bright or not.
And on the key pressed. So, if it's bright, what do we do?
Nothing until the key's pressed.
Yeah, so we need to check if key 1 pressed, that's plain English, huh? Play A3. Yeah? And the same, you carry on until you have if key 4 pressed, play, and this case is D3. So A3, B3, C3, D3. Okay? So that's if it's bright. How many conditions do we have?
2.
So, if it's bright, do this, else, there's only 2 possibilities. So it's either it's bright or it's not. So if it's bright or else, so again, you put if key 1 pressed. Which one do we play this time?
A6.
A6, play A6, etc. B6, C6, D6. Okay? So, in plain English, we check the brightness, we check which key has been pressed, if any. Then we say, well, if it's bright and this key has been pressed, you play A3, and if it's bright and key 2 has been pressed, you play B3. And if it's bright and key 3 has been pressed, you play C3. And if it's bright, key 4 has been pressed, you play D3. Else, that means it's not bright, because there can be only two possibilities. If the key 1 has been pressed, then this time you play A6. If the key 2 has been pressed, then this time you play B6. If the key 3 has been pressed, then this time you play C6. And if the key 4 has been played, then you play C6. Okay? Do we need anything else? Have we done it? Is it all there? Yeah, we have done it. So this is our pseudo code. This is our plain English way of describing the code. Okay? Now we're going to move to write it in code. So we're going to move to write it into a program. So far, any questions? Is it all clear? Right. So now we're going to move to write it as a piece of code. Larissa, please follow. So first, so now I'm going to remove line by line and replace it with a piece of code. First, for the pin for the 4 keys. Once the key is assigned, we're not going to change it. So we make it a constant. And it's an integer. And we can then write, and we want nice names. So we're going to call it key 1 pin. And which value did we give it? 2. Equal 2. And then we finish with the semicolon. So that's, we've declared and we've initialized the pin for key 1. Yeah? It's an integer, that means it cannot be 2.5 and 2.7 because the pins don't have our integer number, they're not real numbers, okay? They're not fractionals or real numbers, they are integers. You guys say integer or integer? I can't remember, some people say integer, I don't know why. Anyway, and they're constant, they don't change. Once we set this, the key 1 pin is not going to change during the whole code, okay? And then we do the same for the other. So we have, I'm going to run out of space, but let me try. So we do also const integer, and it's key 2 pin equal, what did we say for the second one? 3. And so on and so forth. I'll add that, yeah, I'll try to find it. I'm just running out of room, but I'll put them when I get there. The next one is the state of the button. So it's for the variables because they change. So they're 4 integers, either it's on, either it's off, okay? So that's the state of the button. So I put it here. So it's integer, and we call it what? We call it